Welcome to the Justin Show. Today we are sitting down with Galiano Tiramani, the founder of Boxabl, a company that's raised over 200 million to revolutionize affordable housing. We dive into how he's tackling the housing crisis with modular innovation and explore the behind the scenes of raising serious capital. If you're curious about fundraising, scaling a startup, or just love a good underdog story, this is the episode for you. Guess Galiano Tiramani, right?
Tiramani, yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Galiano. Appreciate you taking time today on a Memorial Day weekend. So I typically
I got the Memorial Day
you do,
pants
yeah.
on
You
too.
you're ready to head to the beach or
I was
something
just
after
at
this.
the pool with the kids, but
Ah,
stop
okay,
by for
nice.
this.
Oh, nice. Appreciate you taking time off, right? From the kids and
Thank you.
everything. So I usually start asking like, how was your journey like so far? From humble beginnings to where you are right now with Boxable raising 200 million. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, has been humble beginnings, have had, ups and downs, and the Boxable journey has been about 8 years now.
Oh wow.
Starting out from building a prototype by hand, just me and my dad, to having 100 plus employees and over 800 houses built.
Wow.
So pretty good, and things are really taking off. And we're just trying to set the scale for really big, like big everything, you know, mass production, big factory, big product.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do large, house communities, hundreds of houses or thousands of houses or apartments
Wow.
with our product. And for anyone who doesn't know, Boxabl is a house manufacturer. So we build houses in a factory here in Las Vegas, and we have a bunch of different innovations that we think are going to make it the cheapest, fastest way to build a house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's that how was that like the biggest challenges that you had to face in the beginning in order for after that whole 8 years?
Yeah, there's been definitely a lot of challenges. I think early on, I was trying to figure out, just how to get it off the ground and how to get traction and how to get interest. So we figured out how to do internet marketing really well, got a lot of people to see what we were doing. So now
Mm-hmm.
we've had 100 million plus views on the internet.
Oh
So
wow.
people find out about what you're doing. And then, you know, back in the day, we got, before we actually had the factory or anything, we just had a few prototypes. We got a big order from the military for 150 houses.
Oh
That
wow.
really jump started things, because
Gotcha.
before we got that order, we were planning to start with like a really small factory and just make a few, kind of figure it out. And then when we got that order, it was like, well, we can't do a small factory. We have to do a big factory. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to take this order. So all of a sudden, we weren't starting from here. We were like, let's start
So from
from up
there.
here.
Okay.
And that made everything really big, really, you know, big warehouse building to produce the houses, lots of employees, lots of equipment, big overhead. And it turned out to be good because, we've managed to keep it alive and keep
Yeah.
feeding the beast.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a big turning point, and basically that 150 houses for the army, that was, and they found you through like internet marketing.
I don't really know where the guy found us, but it was from searching online,
Oh wow.
and
Yeah.
he called me up one weekend, and I talked to him, and I didn't even believe him because I used to talk to so many different people,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh sure, you're from the government, and you could send me, over $10 million, sure. And then he turned out to be the real deal, and that really turbocharged us.
That's amazing. And what led to you guys starting to want to do Boxable in the beginning? Like, was there something that a problem that you're trying to solve? From
Yeah, I mean, really, the issue is that housing in the U.S. and around the world is too expensive, and there's not enough of it. The number in the U.S. is that there's supposedly over 5 million housing units short.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone can build them, they're going to sell. So it's quite a big market and quite a big problem
Mm-hmm.
for someone to fix. And our theory is that this is one of the only modern products that's still one of the only modern product categories that's still pre-factory. So all the other modern products are built on an assembly line, but houses are built one at a time using a hammer and nails
Yeah.
out on site.
Right.
So we were trying to, bring that product into the assembly line mass production factory, so that
Mm-hmm.
we think there's a lot to be gained there as far as bringing the prices down. So we kind of solved all the different issues and friction points to make it possible to build in the factory. And now we're trying to scale that up and continue to push the cost down so we can make housing more affordable.
Okay. And in the factory, you see it's assembly line. So is it someone that can just order customize, like how many bedrooms, bathrooms, and
Yeah, so we started off with our first product that's called the Casita. It's a
yeah.
360 square foot small house with a kitchen, bathroom, bed, couch. And the idea was to target that towards like backyard
Mm-hmm.
ADUs.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will build like a small guest cottage in the backyard of the main house. So that was like our foot in the door of getting things started, and we got
Mm-hmm.
a lot of interest in that. But now we're transitioning into other types of buildings. So pretty much every other residential building, like an apartment or a single family house. The first product that we're rolling out is just a larger, kind of a larger casita. It has two boxes connected together, so it's a one or two bedroom house,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that's next. And then we also have some prototypes for some multi-stories, some townhouses,
Wow. Okay.
kind of able to build anything. And then really we're targeting like a B2B customer for those products. So we're trying to find a developer who's like, hey, I want to build a community of 200 houses, a few different floor plans, like 1,200 square feet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
we'll customize it a little bit based on what they want. And then we'll turn on the factory production and start cranking them out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And from the factory to the site, do you guys assemble it on the site as well after you guys build it? Because
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's big, and then just to
Yep. Yep. So we build everything we can in the factory, and that cuts down with a lot of the work that you would do on site while the customer is preparing the land. Like you go from raw land to roads and
yeah.
concrete slabs ready to accept the house. We'll be building the houses simultaneously, so
Mm-hmm.
it should cut the project time in half or
Right.
less. And then go ahead and deploy those out. And usually we would use like a general contractor that's licensed in the area to
Okay.
actually do that work. Um, we may manage it, or they may buy the box from us and they may manage it, but we do a couple different things depending on the customer.
Okay. And is that basically the vision that you guys have for Boxable in like 2 or 3 years in the future? That's where you guys are trying to project to be able to get, I'm guessing, like large developers like Toll Brothers or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So we have already DR Horton, which is one of the
Oh,
largest
nice.
home builders in
That's
the
amazing.
country. Yeah, they invested in us and they bought 100 houses or so, and so they're going to do a community, and then we're just trying to find other customers that want to buy our house, so that want to buy a building product that's going to shortcut their project build time. But what I think we need to do long term is we need to be Boxable needs to be the developer, so we need to get buy our own land, raise our own money to go ahead and build a community or an apartment building. And that's how we're really going
Ah,
to be able to scale up quickly. Is the whole thing needs to be vertically integrated from the
correct.
factory, so that the product we end up selling is a finished house turnkey that you can put on Zillow, and if the price is right, it'll sell quickly.
Gotcha. And that's the vision that you guys have to be able to do everything from scratch for you guys. One-stop
Yeah,
shop, vertically
yeah,
integrated. Yeah.
yeah. For now, we have been trying to sell to customers that are developers, but I think long term we need to be the developer.
Wow, that's amazing. And how's that going so far? That kind of vision and that kind of journey.
Well, we have not done any of our own projects just yet. We've just been selling to customers,
Mm-hmm.
but in the future, that's definitely where we need to go to achieve the kind of scale that we want to achieve.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like how different parts of the country has different part of rules, and because of different environments,
Yeah.
do you guys also cater to that?
Yeah. So our product will work anywhere in the country and it'll exceed the building code
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. So, like, we build one universal product that's one size fits all, which means that our house has to have, the Florida wind ratings for a house that might go in California where you don't have wind issue.
Yeah.
So it's a really strong, high quality product that exceeds all those various requirements like energy, earthquake, wind, all those things.
Okay. And do you guys have to do all that research early on before that just to? get everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, huge amount of research. I have no experience in building construction. Most of the people on our team don't. So, we went through a long learning curve of figuring out how to build the product, what materials to use,
Mm-hmm.
what manufacturing methods, what equipment we would need, innovating and changing different things to make it more suitable. But it's definitely been a big learning curve to figure all that out.
Okay. And what are the targets? I know you mentioned the developers, right? Are there also people that maybe outside of the realm, like I know people that they have like mobile home parks or RV parks, and they want to put like small tiny communities of like
Yeah.
casitas around there. Is that also something
Yeah,
that?
that's actually a great use case. Like, so we have an RV park here in Vegas
Mm-hmm.
that has casitas in it. And I really like that because, whether it's a new development or an old rundown park, it's pretty sweet because these exist all around the country and everything's done. All the work is done. So, the roads, the slabs, the
Mm-hmm.
utilities, water, power, that's all done. And then our houses are already done in the factory. So you can get projects like that going really quickly if
Mm-hmm.
you just fill up an RV park or mobile home park with Boxabl houses. So I definitely like that use
Okay.
case.
And is that something also part of your vision in a couple of
Oh
years?
yeah, I mean we've been doing that already. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Perfect.
yeah, we'll definitely continue doing that, and we're always seeking cool projects like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you mentioned B2B. Will you guys also be to consumer eventually?
Yeah, no, we do now. So we have right now, if somebody wants to go and order a casita on our website, they'll go through, click order, and then we have a network of dealers that are contractors around the country, and they'll basically show up at the person's house and they'll quote the price to install it or whatever, and then they'll go ahead and do all that work and they'll buy the unit from us and set it up. So for individuals that want one for themselves, that's all good to go on the website. There's an order process, and there'll be a dealer that'll help hold their hand
Okay,
through that.
gotcha. And for the dealers, you guys have to officially train them as well, right? Say, hey, this is how we do it, and this is how you're supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a training program, so
Okay.
people can go on our website and sign up to become a dealer, and they'll come to our factory. We'll put them through the training program, and we'll certify them, that
Mm-hmm.
they know how to do it.
Copy that. Okay. And how are you guys? I'm pretty sure you guys are not only the only ones in the industry. Like how you guys are competing and how you guys are being the
Yeah,
number.
I don't really see competition being an issue because there's so much demand for housing that no one's able to meet,
Mm-hmm.
that any houses that are made, that are built, they're going to be sold, and no one's really been able to make it work with factory built housing except for mobile home guys. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
manufactured HUD mobile homes,
Yeah.
those are the only guys that have really made like a sustainable business out of it. Everyone else who's done modular housing has failed for a number of different reasons. I think there was just another failure last week. I think might be wrong, but I think it's called Connect Homes. They had a
Oh.
factory in California, and they weren't able to make it happen, so they went out of business.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's like a long line of people who've tried to do factory built housing and have not been able to make it work,
Okay.
unfortunately. So hopefully, we have cracked the code, and we'll
Yeah.
continue to figure that out and prove that out. And the capital markets will respond and see that we've figured it out and give us more and more resources to keep scaling it.
Okay. And right now, you guys are using a lot of internet marketing to even market to like developers, B2B, even customers, and that's how people are reaching out to you. And I
Yeah.
also I get like emails as well from some newsletters in the email that says, Boxable is trying to raise funds right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think Series A, Series B. That
Yep.
yeah. And how is that going for you guys? Like, how was that process in the
Yeah.
beginning?
Yeah. So we've definitely used internet marketing to get the word out in a really big way and being really successful with that. We also use newsletters. Newsletters
Mm-hmm.
are great if you're trying to advertise something because they've got these audiences of millions of people, just like you're one of them who reads the newsletter,
Yeah.
and so you can pay to be advertising there, get really good results out of that. And not only are we seeking customers through that advertising, but investors as well. And we keep finding people to sign on to the vision and support us, and have raised almost $200 million now
Wow, that's amazing.
through, yeah, I think we're like one of the most successful crowd funds that's being done in that manner. So people can basically go on our website for, minimum $1,000,
Hmm.
buy shares in the company. And the idea is that we would eventually list on the NASDAQ, and then they would get liquidity on those shares down the road after we've hopefully achieved a bunch of the milestones that we set out to.
That's amazing. I guess going back from the beginning, right? Right before you got that 150 order from the army, how were you guys raising funds at that time? How were you guys? Were you guys just bootstrapping it?
Oh yeah, at the beginning it was family money. So
Mm,
Paolo put in, several $1 million of his own money to get it going, and then obviously it's a big undertaking and requires more money than we could put in personally. We're going to need billions of dollars to do this
right.
right,
Yeah.
because it's such a big problem. So we needed to go from use our own money to using investors' money, and that's allowed us to accelerate things and
That's
move really
amazing.
quickly. Yeah.
And what was like the proof of concept? Was it the army deal that was a proof of concept to be able to help that to continue raising to that 200 million?
Yeah, actually it was before that. So we had a website. We hadn't built anything. The website just had like 3D render pictures on it.
Oh, okay.
And eventually, I think it's called Builder Magazine, noticed the website and called me one day and said, "Hey, do you guys want to bring a house to our show in Vegas, the Builder Show? They do it every year.
Oh, yeah.
There's
That
like,
was a couple of months ago, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 100,000 attendees or something. It's a pretty
That's
big show." So they invited us to bring a house, and we didn't have a house at that time. So we just had a meeting and said, should we commit to this? Will we be able to make the first prototype in time? And we said, yeah, let's do it. And we made that prototype and debuted it at the show, and people were interested. And that's how we started, and just kept going and going, getting more and more traction.
wow. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
going back to the newsletter options, and how was that? How did you guys utilize that? Did you go to like people who are doing newsletters and say, hey, we have this, or they just came to you and say, hey, we would like to be part of our advertisement and partners?
Yeah. So there's a few different sources of those newsletters. You can go direct, and then there's people that resell them, and sometimes they'll reach out to me. But recently, we've been doing a lot of newsletters because the return on ad spend number is good on that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do a lot of different paid ads like Facebook and Google,
Mm-hmm.
and the newsletters as well, and it seems to work great. So we try to do every newsletter we can get, and then the ones that pay off with a better return, we'll do those
Do
again.
it again. Okay.
Um, and that was something we just started recently. I didn't do early on, but I kind of figured out it was a good way to advertise, and
Correct. Yeah.
definitely like it.
That's a good. That's also another journey I'm trying to like figure out as well. And what were different challenges and different things that were like an aha moment where you guys were trying to raise money, raise capital? But
Well, yeah, the crowdfunding has been great. I'd highly recommend it to anyone that's trying to raise money for their business. At the beginning, I had never done housing. I had never done marketing, no investing
so it just
stuff.
went
And
trial by
yeah,
fire.
at the beginning, I'm like, all right, we need investor money. So I started like Googling venture capitalists and investors. And I think I did over 200 calls with investors pitching the idea, got rejected by every single one. And then uh,
What?
Meanwhile, individual people who found out about us on the internet were asking if they can invest. So I was like, all right, let me look and find out if you can invest. So I figured out that legally there was a way to allow them to. And then we turned that on and turn on the first raise. And all of a sudden it just starts working. And, every morning I look on my computer, and, money's just rolling in. And I'm like, this is great. Let me just keep doubling down on this and dialing in the process and getting really good at it. And now it's absolutely amazing the amount of money that I can reel in with that
Yeah.
process. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I could at this point repeat that with pretty much any product or service. If I wanted to raise money for something else, I can just
Exactly. Yeah.
turn on that system now. And there's money out there flowing around, and you just have to position yourself to catch it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people that will be interested in what you're doing, and they're gonna jump on board and take the risk with you, and it's a great thing to leverage to accelerate your business.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a very good advice as well. And when you say crowdfund, it's not like what's that thing called? You guys develop your own crowdfund through your website, or is it more like a Kickstarter type?
So Kickstarter is people pre-selling products usually.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put in money to buy a product like before it's launched. For us, we're actually selling shares. So we're selling
Oh, okay, gotcha.
ownership in the country, in the company. There are third-party platforms that you can use for that. Like I've used them. Start Engine, WeFunder, and Republic are the three
Oh,
big
I know Star
ones.
Engine, yeah.
Yeah, so you can go on there, or you can host it directly on your own website.
Website, yeah. Okay.
When people ask me about it, I usually tell them first go to Start Engine and do your first one with them.
Mm-hmm.
You'll learn the ropes, you'll get the hang of it, and then if it works, check out another company called Dealmaker.
I heard of
And then,
Dealmaker though,
yeah,
yeah.
Dealmaker will let you host it directly on your own website so that no one even sees Dealmaker. They don't see Start Engine. They just see your website. They think they're paying you, and that way you can control the marketing much better. You can control the sales funnel much better because
Yeah,
it's
right.
all happening on your website instead of going through a third
Correct,
party
yeah.
website. So that's what I usually tell people to do when they ask.
And that's, in your words, that's the crowdfunding you were talking about.
Yeah, and
Like,
that's all crowdfunding. That's all selling shares.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And did all the people you called, the 200 people called, finally got on board after that?
No, they all rejected me and they lost out. And all my first round investors are up 5,000% now.
Damn, wow,
So,
that's amazing. Yeah.
those dummies could have, believed in me and they'd be up too.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, it's
And look
pretty
where you are
cool.
right now. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I even enabled some of my early investors to sell. So, like some of the people who invested the very beginning sold some of their shares and took in that 5,000% gain that they got. So
Oh
that was
wow,
pretty
okay.
cool, for the investor. But really, pretty much anyone who invests in Boxabl, they understand it's like a high risk
Right.
type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could lose all your money, and in order for them to make money, the company has to be successful and achieve the milestones that we
Correct,
set
yeah.
out, and have a lot of revenues, and go on the Nasdaq and
Mm-hmm.
get
Yeah, I
liquid.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of pre-IPO companies as well. And because Boxable is not the one, I also see on the newsletter, there's also other companies as well. It's like, hey, pre-IPO,
Yep.
please come in and invest with us.
Yep.
And then when they go IPO, that's where things are going. That's where they make the investors
That's when
happier.
they cash out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, what else, like, what is the biggest lesson learned that you can, share to the audience from your experience right now, from, raising capital, starting a business from scratch?
I think, in general, like in life, you can pretty much, do anything you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you just, work incredibly hard at it and never give up. And
Right.
it's not going to be easy, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of challenges. But
Yeah.
if you keep pushing and working hard, that it will pay off and be really cool. Because for me, like looking at where I am now and where I was, when I started the company and where I was even before that,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty amazing that we've been able to, scale something up to this crazy level.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And were you always into the building houses before? And
No. Before the Boxable, I had a marijuana business,
oh, okay.
and then before that, I had a Bitcoin business.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, so totally different stuff. And
But those experiences guide you to where you are right now.
oh
And
yeah, I
yeah,
mean everything in life is just like training camp
yeah,
for what's next.
yeah. That's amazing.
And learned, a lot of lessons. If I hadn't learned those lessons, it wouldn't be possible to be doing what I'm
Exactly
doing
where you
now.
are. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Well, Galiano, thank you so much again for
Cool.
your time today.
Thanks, buddy.
You have, shared so many insights, amazing things, and I hope Boxable will keep growing and keep, getting the customers you guys want, and
Yeah,
you guys will be able to build everything one stop shop, vertically integrated
I hope
company.
so.
So
I
thank you
hope
again so
so.
much,
Thank
Galiano,
you.
for your
Thank you. And
time. Thank you
I'd
so much.
urge anyone to go to our website, boxable.com, follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube. We just post constant updates about what we're doing, so you can kind of follow the journey live as it unravels.
Okay. Well, I guess before we end, like if they can still invest with you guys, where would they go and invest, or is it closed already?
Well, yeah, if there's anything like that available, they can just head over to the website, just boxabl.com, and figure it out from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in X, Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook.
all our social media, like we post like everything we're doing on there. Like more transparency than any other company out there about what's happening on a daily basis. So
Yeah, that's
putting out a
amazing.
lot of
Yeah,
content to keep people interested.
exactly. So okay, appreciate you, man. Thank you very
Cool.
much again
Thank
for
you.
your time today, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Nice.
definitely keep in touch and
Good stuff.
see your progress on
Good
Boxabl.
stuff. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Galiano.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Very nice.